try to do a perfection loop very small. Now let's see if I can get one tied. One of the tools, this little tool right here, comes in real handy sometimes for stuff like this. Now I'll show you a small loop. I use this tool again. I told you I use this little splicing tool. I use this to tie a small loop. And I'm going to show you what I mean by small compared to the other one that I did.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Can you see that loop compared to the other one?
Yeah.
It's a much smaller loop. The knot I'm using to tie it onto the hook, cinch knot, that's it. That was the name I'm looking for. I just use a cinch knot for it. Well, this part I don't have much trouble with. I can usually do this pretty good because I just twist it. Then I can, if I want it shorter or long, you can pull your loose end. In other words, the end you're going to put through, you can pull it up to bring your knot down as far as you want. See off. I take my glasses off to see up close and personal. And then I pull that tight. I bring it down as far as I can, and then I tie it down. To begin with. If you guys will tie up some of these for your fishing on still water, I think you'd be very happy with the results. I don't need anything too special tying that off. Now this is where I would put super glue. I'd put it to the side and I'd let it sit while I tied another. I usually tie 10 flies or 20 flies at a time. And then I do this portion first. By the time I've tied the 10th or the 20th, the super glue is dry. Okay, then on this I started to tell you, I use about 6 to 8, and don't sit there and count them. Just kind of get kind of close, barbels off the pheasant tails, and I cut them up. I cut them up real close to the edge of the tail. And it would be nice if I started my thread again, I guess. And I want this fly to kind of look kind of bent a little bit because that's the way the naturals sit in the water. Now I've got this pheasant tail here in my hand, and what I try to do is I try to figure out, I just want this thing to stick out a little bit off the tail. So I just pinch it that little bit, and that's where I tie it in.
Okay, hold up.
To 8. It doesn't really, it's not real important to the number. It's just, you're not really going for bulk here. And then I tied that on, and you can see the tail sticking back, not very far, but it's back a little way. And then I bend that back, and I tie it back to the beginning. So if you, okay, I'm going to have it hanging there in the back. And then I'm going to wrap this forward right up to where the thread is, or just behind it. Right there. And then I'm just going to bring my thread over the top in loops. And this will more or less just kind of hold it down and in place. If I can get it started over the top, there we go. And then I have that tied off like that. And you wrap it up that far, and then just bend it backwards and get it out of your way. I wrapped a couple of wraps on it just to hold it back. You can wrap it. You can tie in your peacock herl now, and leave your thread at the back by the wing case on the back. Don't tie it in put your thread up by the eye, wrap it on, and then leave your thread in the back behind the thing. And now I want you to wrap the peacock herl forward almost to the eye, but not quite, and then back to your thread again. It's probably only going to take about 8 to 10 wraps to get it completely wrapped. And you'll see what I'm doing here. I'm just wrapping this up.
So which end did you tie in?
The big end. And then I catch it, and I make about 2 wraps, and then I wrap the thread forward right to the eye. And then I wrap back just a little bit, because I got to leave room to tie in the wing case. And then you clip off your excess. Okay, now I'm going to try to split these into an equal number, say 3 and 3 or 4 and 4. And I bring them around, I bring this wing case back around to the front. You can do it one side at a time and hold it, or you can do it both sides at once. I kind of try to get them both at once.
Your tail's a little long, other than that, you're okay.
And if they're too long for your legs, that's okay too, because you can clip them off. Now what I do, if you're watching this, I'm holding this wing case so it's pulled forward, and then I bring the thread over the top twice, and I'm holding this up there like that. So now it's held up and it's all forward and it's all on the top. Then I separate them again. I made 3 wraps of thread. You can do 4 or 5. It doesn't matter a lot. But I have the thread further back, right next to where the peacock herl is. And I get about the 3 or 4, whatever it is, on one side. 4 and 5, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to bring that one back. I'll bring this side back first. And then I'm going to bring the other side back. And I'm going to hold them both back and I'm going to tie them off. And then I'm going to wrap a neat head. And then I clip that off. And then I'm going to take them down underneath or on the top, whichever is the most convenient in the way they want to go. I'm going to clip them right to where the tail starts. That's all the more you need. And then you can kind of put them off to the sides. And that'll be just about the right size of my needle and stick right through it. Now it's on.
Hold it right in front of the fly.
Right there. Just stick that right through that piece of foam. I'm sorry. And then I use this little tool. And I just take that and I stick it right through that. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
I just stick that through that
latch tool.
that hole.
That's a little latch tool.
Yeah. It's a little what they call a splicing tool.
Yeah.
They use this in Germany. The first place I ever saw these is what they used them for over there. I'm having a hard time getting this closed. Okay, there we go. Then I've got it caught. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just hook that onto that loop, and then I'm going to pull it right down over on the loop. Now,
Okay.
That's like a latch hook too.
okay, are you guys happy with your flies?
It's a needle point.
Yeah, here. Somebody want to see it?
Oh,
But this just sits there and it just floats right down below that.